Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today, once again, I'm going to be continuing 50 years of horror fiction, and I'm going to be moving into the 1990s, starting with, of course, the year 1990. So one thing about this, yesterday I scoured the internet. Like I've said before, the internet is perfectly clean. You won't find any harmful things on there right now because I just cleaned the crap out of it. Anyway, I scoured the internet for books from the 1990s, and I think I stayed on the internet looking for books for probably like 5 hours or something like that. And another thing about it is that I have got videos. It's March 20, right now it is March 21st, 2022. I have already got videos made, edited, and uploaded and scheduled all the way up to the year 1989. I mean, right now, if I didn't want to make a video, I wouldn't have to make a video. You know, I'm just trying to stay ahead of this. And it's also one of those things where I don't know if you guys are getting tired of this, or if you guys are getting tired of me making these videos, but I've kind of committed myself to it. So just if you want to, just come along for the ride, all right? Anyway, that being said, after that long-winded introduction, let's go ahead and get underway with this. All right, so starting with 1990. For the first one in 1990, we have got The Witching Hour, and this is by Anne Rice. And this is a pretty long synopsis, and I want to see if I can figure out if I can edit it any, but if not, I apologize for it being so long. From the author of the extraordinary Vampire Chronicles comes a huge hypnotic novel of witchcraft and the occult through 4 centuries. Demonstrating once again her gift for spellbinding storytelling and the creation of legend, Anne Rice makes real for us a great dynasty of witches, a family given to poetry and to incest, to murder and to philosophy, a family that, over the ages, is itself haunted by a powerful, dangerous, and seductive being. On the veranda of a great New Orleans house, now faded, a mute and fragile woman sits rocking, and the witching hour begins. You know what? I'm going to leave it right there. All right, because this is a long synopsis. I'm going to leave it right there. You know, just give you enough. All right, so that is The Witching Hour. And that is by, of course, Anne Rice. The late Anne Rice, if you want to say it that way. All right. All right, next up we have got Mark of the Werewolf by Jeffrey Sackett. A neo-fascist group seeks to tap into the immortality of Janus Caldey, a man-werewolf condemned to an eternity of killing, in order to breed a race of hate-mongers impervious to death. And that is a rather short synopsis of Mark of the Werewolf by Jeffrey Sackett. I didn't realize it was that short, and I looked down and said, oh, there's the next book right here. Okay. Alright, so next up, we've got, and this is one I've not heard of from Peter Straub. I'm not a big Peter Straub reader, but I usually hear about the books he comes out with. I've not heard of this book. Alright, this is Mrs. God. And it's by Peter Straub, of course. A tale of an inspired literary sojourn that turns into something far more sinister. Estwood House, home and estate of the Seneschal family, aristocratic patrons of the literary arts for well over 100 years. D.H. Lawrence, T.S. Eliot, Ford Madox Ford, and Henry James were privileged to call themselves guests and Estwood Fellows. Even minor poets such as Isabel Standish found in Estwood a respite from the outer world and its refined atmosphere and inspiration for her work. There was always talk of a hidden secret in Estwood's past, and the Seneschal children were often so pale and sickly, but don't all English manor houses have a few ghost stories to call their own? When Professor William Standish receives the rare honor of an Estwood fellowship, and the chance to study Isabel's private manuscripts at close hand, he is thrilled beyond his wildest ambitions. But something seems slightly off at Estwood House. He hears faint laughter in the halls, the pitter-pattering of small feet in the night. Strange faces appear in the windows of the library, and there are those giant dollhouses in the basement. All right, and that is Mrs. God, and that is by Peter Straub. Okay. Alright, next up we have got Dark Father, and this is by Tom Piccirilli. Yeah, Piccirilli doesn't sound right. I'm going to say Tom Piccirilli, alright? And I'm sorry if I'm butchering the guy's name. The creatures of the night must swell their The creatures of the night must swell their ranks with living, breathing flesh. Samuel and Daniel never knew their father, and their mother is only a dim memory. The brothers lived together in the huge old family house, sharing a strange alliance and a monstrous secret. But now the sudden appearance of a passionate young woman sparks anger between them. The horrifying visions the boys share are becoming more urgent and more terrible, and the townsfolk are disappearing one by one. The brothers' evil legacy is writhing up, emerging from the primeval earth, for the kingdom of the undead is gathering its powers, and their father is finally coming home. And that is Dark Father, and that is by Tom Piccirilli. All right. Okay, next up, and I asked my buddy Nick over at Spooky Noodles. I asked him if he has read this book yet, because he is a huge Ronald Kelly fan, and he said he hasn't read it yet. So this is Hindsight. It's by Ronald Kelly. Sight unseen, little Cindy Ann knew things no one else ever knew, saw things no one else saw. Ever since she nearly died of fever, the gift of second sight had been hers. Only it didn't seem like such a gift when the other children called her a witch and wouldn't play with her, or when her visions resembled nothing so much as her worst nightmare. Death undying. Then her older brother disappeared in the vicinity of the old tobacco barn, and Cindy's visions began to burn with a bloodthirsty, relentless hatred. What horrors lay buried in the cold earth of the barn, and how could one innocent little girl hope to fight the terrifying evil, an evil that had taken her brother, and that would now turn on the only witness to its monstrous, merciless crime, Cindy herself? And that is Hindsight, and that is by Ronald Kelly. All right, and you know what? That is going to do it for the year 1990. So the next time I am on here running my mouth, we're going to be talking about the year 1991. All right, so until next time, you guys take care, and please stay scared. All right, bye-bye.